Welcome. Today is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. It is 3 p.m. We are in the council chambers at 19 Parnell Street in Calabogie. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Resolution.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Greater Madawaska calls to order the April 17th, 2025 regular council meeting at 3:01 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. All in favor? That is carried. Please stand for O Canada. Seated. As we gather in chambers, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We'd also like to thank all generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Thank you, Miigwech. We'll move on to 4.1, approval of agenda. Resolution, please.
That the agenda of the council meeting of April 17, 2025 be approved as amended by the following. Addition to item 9.9, bylaw 34/2025, acquisition of land, and deletion of item 13.1, closed session, item 14.1, open session, and item 15.1, rise and report.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Thompson. You've had a chance to review this. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. 5.1, approval of minutes. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are approved by council: March 20th, 2025 regular council and April 10th, 2025 public meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. All in favor? That is carried. Move on to 5.2, accepting the minutes. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are accepted by council: February 18th, 2025 Recreation and Culture Committee and March 6th, 2025 Canada Day Committee.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. You've had a chance to review this. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Do we have any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? There is none seen. Thank you. We'll move on to the mayor's report. Today's mayor report spans the time period from February 20th to today's meeting. As you're aware, I was remote last time and I'd forgotten to bring my mayor's meeting report, so I've combined the two of them. So thank you for that time period and grace. In that time period, I represented council at 20 meetings, 14 community events, and 1 conference. During the first week of April, myself and Steve Inwood attended the Good Roads Conference. Overall, the Good Roads 2024-25 conference serves a vital gathering of municipal professionals to exchange ideas, learn about emerging trends, and strengthens the infrastructure and services that support Ontario communities. On Monday, March 3rd, 2025, I was privileged to represent Greater Madawaska, and at that time, resident Rose LeClaire was presented with the King Charles III Coronation Medal by MP Cheryl Gallant at the presentation ceremony held in Horton, Ontario, along with 29 residents of the Algonquin, Nipissing, Pembroke area. The King Charles III Coronation Medal is for somebody that has made significant contributions to Canada or a particular province, territory, region, or their community, and have made outstanding achievements achievements that brings credit to Canada. So congratulations, Rose. Thank you very much. Now, on a personal note, I'd like to address something. Many in town and within the county have noticed that I'm using a cane or sometimes a walker to assist me. I've been asked about this, and I've heard several rumors about my health, and I would like to address those concerns. I'm currently going through tests to come to a resolution on how my doctors are going to correct this issue. I have a degenerative disc in my back that is pinching nerves, causing weakness and pain. I'm currently on nerve blockers to assist with the pain. The nerve blockers do not affect my cognitive abilities. They are only there to block the pain receptors. Until this is resolved and managed better, my ability to attend community events or my ability to stay the normal length of time I do at community events may be diminished. I apologize for this in advance. I truly enjoy all the conversations and personal discussions that I have at these meetings and community events. I promise you, I will get to as many as I can. If I'm not able to attend a community event, please don't think of this as a slight. I will do my best to my ability to be at these events. I thank you for your time and consideration and your concerns in this matter. So thank you all, and I just wanted to give an update so that if there were any questions out there, people knew what was going on. So this concludes my mayor's report, and I thank you. We'll now move on to 8.1, delegation presentations, 2024 financial statements by Welsh Chartered Financial Accountants. Resolution, please.
That council approves the 2024 financial statements prepared by Welch LLP as presented.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. Umar, are you online?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right. Briefly, I would just like to present the audit report to yourself and council members. I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully it comes up okay for you. Oh, okay. Sending a request. I'm not sure if staff has.
We're just waiting for that to come up.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. All right. Should be able to see
It
that
is
now.
not there yet.
Okay. Might be a lag. Still nothing?
We're just working it on our end here, so give us a minute.
Very good.
They were getting a blank screen when it comes up.
Okay, well, I can still walk everybody through the report. It is titled Report to Council, Township of Greater Madawaska, prepared by myself and partner Krista Casey here at Welch. So we'll go through, I know it's been enclosed in your material, so we'll just go through that way just to avoid the technical part of this. And I'll stop
Yeah,
sharing.
we all have a copy of it as well so that we can review on our screens. So,
Excellent. So I'll just go section by section. It'll be a fairly brief report. So audit status. So at this point, we are substantially complete our audit, and we expect to release a clean or unmodified opinion on the financial statements of the Township of Madawaska. There are a few remaining outstanding items which are listed there before you, but this is very standard procedure for this stage of the audit. Signed management representation letter, a legal inquiry letter, approval of the statements by council, and then a final subsequent review up to this date. So this is about as close to the finish line as we can get right before the approval. Qualitative aspects of accounting. So we always like to highlight any areas of significant judgment that were involved or estimates that were involved that we would highlight to you. There's no such matters to highlight at this time. So it means, we're fairly confident in the accuracy and completeness of the numbers that are being presented. Management representations. So one of the things outstanding is management signs off on the representation letter. That essentially outlines that management is accountable for the financial statements, the preparation of the statements, the note disclosures, etc. That allows us as auditors to be independent and provide an independent opinion on the fairness and the presentation of those statements. Misstatements. So these are often referred to as adjustments. So during the course of the audit, we will find perhaps, accruals, things of that nature that need to be adjusted. We propose those as recommendations to management, and management has accepted all of those. So they've already been reflected. There was no issues where management and our audit team kind of couldn't come to an agreement. So that made for a fairly clean audit. Deficiencies in internal control. So we don't do a deep dive of internal controls, but as part of our audit process, we do have to understand the township's cash payments process, accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, etc. And so were we to encounter some internal control deficiency that was alarming to us, we would write a letter to management, and that would also come to yourself as well. And so no such matters to report this year, which is excellent. Independence. So I'd like to formally state that nothing has come about to impair Welch's independence that would hinder our ability to provide this audit opinion. Again, I mentioned earlier, there was no changes in accounting policies or significant judgment areas or estimate areas that we need to highlight to you here. And of course, during the course of the audit, we required the full cooperation, and we're not limited in our scope in any manner. So thank you to management for that. And, just a reminder that professional accounting standards, auditing standards require us to bring about and raise any of these matters to be communicated should they arise. So significant related party transaction, a fraudulent transaction, things of that nature. If they were to come about during the course of the audit, during the course of our testing, we would be required to report those to you, and we have no such matters to report to you. So with that, that kind of concludes our audit process. So I'll throw it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Are there any questions from council? Does not appear to be any questions for you. All righty, so we'll have all in favor of accepting the financial statements prepared by Welch LPP as presented? That is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Omar, for your time today.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you all.
That was carried, so thank you. We'll move on to Finance 9.1 2024 surplus allocation. Resolution, please.
That council approve the allocation of the 2024 year-end surplus of $285,857.97 to the Capital Works Reserve.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Poppy. Background, please. I believe this is Genevieve.
Good afternoon. So the financial statements for 2024 were presented today, and they identified a surplus. So the operating budgets fund day-to-day activities and initiatives for the township. There may be several reasons for one-time situational surpluses, increase in building permits, interest rates, and so on, and even just general efficiencies. So today, the 2024 surplus, staff is recommending $285,857.97 be allocated to the Capital Works Reserve for works identified in the asset management plan, as well as recommended in the reserve and the reserve fund policy.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor Levesque.
I just want to say thank you for all of that. I guess everybody has a hand in contributing to all that, but you in putting it all together. Thanks, Jen. Question on, I guess, what's identified in the asset management plan. So it goes into the asset management plan and just goes per the existing plan, or will there be new things added to that as a result of that?
So right now, we're working on the asset management plan and a financial strategy. So right now, we do have a strategy in place. As we identify assets, they will be added to the plan. But right now, it's going to contribute to the Capital Works Reserve for funding of assets.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from council? All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Jen. We'll move on to 9.2, bylaw 28-2025, final tax levy. Resolution, please.
That council approve bylaw 28-2025, final tax levy, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption of the 2025 tax rates and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2025.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. Jen?
So a lot of you were aware of the municipal tax levy that was proposed in our budget of 5.69%. We were able to finalize a rate. We received our rates from the county and the education. We were able to bring down the municipal rate to 5.41% for a total change over 2024, 4.68%. So today we're presenting the 2025 final tax rates as per the requirement of the Municipal Act. And the increase in the total, the resulting increase is $98.09 annually per $200,000 assessment. And this township's strategic plan sets key goals to communicate this with the public. So we have prepared a where do your tax dollars go, and we will be distributing it via social media and hopefully with the tax bills, and it's attached to your agenda today.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Tripp.
Just a comment, job well done. I think we are in a really good position geographically in terms of our neighboring townships. But a special thanks for your leadership in having that document that shows how the money is spent. It is very valuable for ratepayers to get a clear understanding of that breakdown. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No, I have just comment on the where do your property tax dollars go, the page that was done, or the one-piece page that was done up on that. I particularly like the way you broke down, or as a team, you broke down school boards, County of Renfrew, Greater Madawaska, and then show where it's being spent in Greater Madawaska. And I think this started last year. I think this started last year, and I have noticed that you are being copied by other townships. And I think that's a great, shows basically you're the leader, and everybody else is following you in this one. And I think that speaks volumes to what you're doing and what the staff is doing here. That I think what's the term is impersonation or copying is the greatest form of flattery, and I think you should take that to heart. So job well done. So thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 9.3, Shuley Mitchell cost savings information item. And as this back to Jen again, you got a busy day.
This is the last one. So on September 19, 2024, council approved a bylaw authorizing the township to enter into agreement with Shuley Mitchell to conduct a free analysis of select expenses within the township. We decided to start with merchant services, which is like our credit card and processing fees. This report was to present council with the savings found during the review. When we started the review, we realized that maybe that we wanted to change the approach to a cost recovery model. Presently, the township shares in the cost of what it costs a ratepayer to use the credit card system. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to shift it 100% to the users of that service, so that individuals that are not using that service don't have to pick up any costs associated with it. Shuley Mitchell agreed at the time that that shift would not be part of the savings that they would share with us. So they just compared, I guess, apples to apples on how we would just switching providers the fees. And they've identified an annual savings of $5,090 approximately. So for the first 2 years of the agreement, the township would be obligated to pay Shuley Mitchell $25.45 and will retain the remaining savings. And in the third year and beyond, the township would be able to obtain 100% of the savings moving forward.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? There are none, so I thank you for this report. Job well done once again. So this is an information item. We don't need an all in favor, so I caught myself on that one. Thank you. We'll move on to 9.4, sale of security lots, Peaks Village. Resolution, please.
That council declare the 8 security lots in Peaks Village subdivision surplus lands, and that council authorize the issuance of a request for proposal to retain a realtor services to facilitate the sale of the 8 security lots.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please, if you're able to.
So this is the next step into the Peaks Village subdivision completion of roads. What we have now is we've completed the I guess holding of the security lots for the subdivision, and now we're able to utilize them to fund completion of the road. At this time, we'd be looking to retain a real estate services to facilitate this sale. This can be done normally through tendering process, just like our tax sales and that type of process. But in this situation, we're looking at going for real estate services, and then ideally, the RFP would come out with maybe a 3-year term. So if it's ideal, we're able to consider this real estate services for other lands as we dispose of lands that are deemed surplus in the township. So at this time, council would be declaring these 8 security lots surplus to allow for us to proceed with sale of them. And then we'd be going out to RFP. And depending on what the value comes back to, we may have to come back to council for approval to proceed.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion items? Councillor Thompson.
I'm just thinking for the benefit of anyone that's going to be watching this, a little bit of the history of why we're selling land and how that's happening.
So what we have in the Peaks Village is we have a subdivision that is not at full completion. The roads aren't completed within. Over the last years, we've been trying to put in easements for drainage. Drainage was not in there, so we went for expropriation of these easements. Those are still being completed. And therefore, there were, as part of the subdivision agreement, there were 8 security lots. These 8 security lots are intended to complete the subdivision roads. We have incurred, I believe, $130,000 worth of works to date. So the sale of these lots would be to fund the works already completed, as well as we would be coming back to council with a plan to complete the road. And these costs incurred to complete the road within the subdivision would be paid through the sale of the lots.
Thank you. Any, Councillor Tripp?
Thank you. So on the 8 lots, we've expensed 130 net to date. We'll get an estimate of what the required funds will be to complete the project. If we find that with selling 6 of the 8 lots, we'll cover that, would we be able to still hold the other 2 lots to let that equity sit in land? Or would the intent be to sell everything and put the surplus that we don't use back into our reserve fund?
Thank you.
The intent at this point is to fund the expenses to complete the road. And if it were to come back to council with a possible surplus from sale, we'd be coming back to council to see if you would want to proceed or secure it in a reserve.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No, I thank you for this. This is a long process, and the people in Peaks Village are anxiously waiting for resolutions to the road issues and the easements, and we will no doubt have some people say that this is an inappropriate time to put lots up for sale, but when is actually, I don't have a crystal ball, none of us do, is when is a good time and when is a bad time. But right now, this is an RFP to go out to find a realtor to help us out with that. So thank you for that. In saying that, is there any other questions, comments? All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 9.5 bylaw 26-2025 communication policy. Background, please, or resolution, please.
The council approved bylaw 26/2025 being a bylaw to establish a communication policy.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please.
So in March, we would have presented a draft communication policy. This would be the first communication policy with the township to really define guiding principle for communication. It was sent off to council for comments, and we did receive some comments throughout. We've clarified some items and made minor adjustments. There are, during the council meeting and following, I did receive some comments regarding other initiatives that would more relate to the communication plan, such as updated biannual newsletters, increased social media presence, and increased community engagement. These are things we've done, and then so what we're looking at today is just looking at the guidelines and approving a policy for that, and then we'd be coming back to council with council initiatives for, I meant to say the public engagement initiatives for across the township with open houses, as well as a more open communication portals to encourage feedback.
Thank you. Is there any questions, concerns, comments from council? Councillor Thompson.
This is going to be great to have, especially when it's, when we first started out, we didn't know who to talk to, or even as council members, or what to do. I have one question, though. There's really nothing in there for responding to inappropriate communication to employees. What happens if a member of the council or the CAO receive inappropriate communication? I mean, this is all centered on the CAO fixing it. What happens do we have a policy? Should we develop one?
Yeah, currently the policy doesn't reference, normally when we have comments from residents or communication that's coming in that way, we're looking to resolve it at the staff level. We don't have policy relating to at the CAO level. It's almost like the buck stops there. Same with council members, even within legalities in a municipal act to protection to that, it would be more like seizing conversation versus having somewhere to go with that. So I didn't add anything at this point.
Follow-up?
Seizing communication? What do you
A little more of that we don't have, other than just not continuing to communicate with the person. So I don't know if council would like to see more in there, but that's all we have. I had received that comment during the comments I was receiving, and I did some research, and yeah, there's nothing out there that's really speaking to the CAO or council.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Levesque?
Just, I guess, maybe outside of this policy, it's the reverse. And we've seen it in other organizations where staff are engaged on social media, and that's not really covered here. And it often is covered under HR policies. And is that in there in terms of how staff communicate on social media on behalf of themselves as an employee? So in other words, a disparaged employee reports something on social media that makes the township look less than positive.
We do have a social media policy in the HR policies for township employees.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think I did note under section 15, there is something about social media in here as well.
Yeah, but it's the other way.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No, I am reading through this. I think it sets the guidelines out and allows people to know how communication is going to take place. And I think it's a great addition to our policies to help everybody and have somewhere to go to look at this. So thank you. In saying that, is there any other questions, comments, concerns? No. All in favor of acceptance? That is unanimous, so carried. We'll now move on to section 9.6, noise bylaw.
The council approved bylaw 27, 2025, being a bylaw to control noise in the township of Greater Madawaska, and that council repealed bylaw 14, 2016.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please.
So this bylaw was also presented in draft at the March council meeting. And I did receive some comments, which we've provided some adjustments within the bylaw and in the report. So we've adjusted Schedule A, general noise prohibitions, and added unnecessary and unreasonable. And then on Schedule B, there's been adjustments mainly to the hours, extending. I think in my last report, I kind of mentioned that most bylaws are prohibited noise from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. versus 6 a.m. So there's been an adjustment to that in the new updated bylaw. And then we do have for powered tools, it adjusts the all days of the week to the Monday to Saturday, and then the Sunday and Saturday holidays. They really, the adjustments align more with other bylaws across other municipalities. And as this township grows and it's being developed, it's good to have some sort of process in there if anybody has issues.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion items from council? Councillor Popke.
I was just wondering, how does this affect occupations like loggers, for example, that start early? Some of the trucks drive by at 5 in the morning. They're hauling out of the bush or heading into the bush. Would they fall under this sort of bylaw where they can't get past there till 7 sort of thing?
For driving,
Yeah.
it would not fall within this. It's more for the cutting next door neighbor type of situation.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No, I think just going off Councillor Popke's comments, I think also too, this is something that's going to be complaint driven as well. And I think where the loggers are doing their cutting, there's probably not too many neighbors that are going to be opposed to the activity to report it. So I think this is more of a tool that if it's a repetition of events that is causing dissuade events, neighbors that it be reported then acted on. So it's not a proactive legislation; it's a reactive. So I think that would cover what your question was. Thank you. In saying that, is there any other questions, comments, concerns? No. All in favor of accepting? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. 9.7, 2025 AMO delegation request. This is an information item. And this will be, who is this going to? Is this going to our CAO?
Yes. So as mentioned when we were discussing the delegations for Roma, I wanted to get kind of that process started a bit earlier for AMO. So I'm just flagging the AMOs coming up in August. Normally the deadline for submitting is the beginning of June for a delegation. And then the opening of delegations for processing requests is the beginning of May. So what I was looking at is to see if council want to have a conversation about potential delegations. This would allow me time to review it and maybe research some background for the May meeting, so then we could secure them in May at the May meeting and submit.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from council? No, I thank you for this. It gives us an advance notice to put our thinking caps on and see what we possibly could want. Now, in saying that, we know the deadline's probably sometime in June. What's the optimum time that you would like to get possible delegation requests to you so that we can work on them, knowing you have a schedule that's crazy?
Ideally, we'd be looking at May 2nd. For submitting to me to have it for the agenda on May 15th. This doesn't mean that we can't have a discussion then and then make adjustments from that council meeting, but it allows me to bring something forward to the council meeting on May 15th.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, thank you for the information item. We'll move on to 9.8, Special Event Permit 2025 Business Showcase Resolution, please.
So as mentioned by our Community Development Coordinator at the last council meeting, we are having our first 2025 business show.
Resolution?
Oh, sorry. That council declares the Township of Greater Madawaska Business Showcase to be held on June 21st, 2025 at the Calabogie Community Hall in Rink, a municipally significant event, special event.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Chip, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please, just in case you want to hear it.
So what we have here is this event is going to have some over 20 Greater Madawaska businesses that have been confirmed, and then we have 3 breweries, and then some other food vendors, music, and the fire department. With the AGCO for the breweries, we do require a special occasions permit to be able to proceed with licensing to allow our breweries such as the Calabogie Brewery to come and sell alcohol at the event, which is under the rink in Calabogie. So we're trying to see if council is ready to declare it as a significant event to be able to apply for the license.
Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns, discussion items from council? No, I thank you for this and all the hard work that's going into this. I think it showcases what we have in the Township of Greater Madawaska and supporting neighboring areas. It'll highlight our area and bring attraction to us, and that always assists with community development, economic development. And I think it's great that we have so many so far, and I'm assume more will join. And I believe we have volunteers who are already starting to line up for this event as well. So I think it's going to be a very significant event showcasing what we have and the great work by staff. So I thank you for that. So after saying that, is there any other comments? All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll move on now to section 9.9, bylaw 34-2025, acquisition of land. Resolution, please.
That council approve bylaw 34, 2025, being a bylaw to authorize the acquisition of lands from the Roman Catholic
Fiscal. Go ahead, just go on with corporation.
Corporation of Pembroke to be funded by the 2024 operating surplus.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Popke. Background, please.
So in 2024, staff was tasked with looking at lands to benefit the community, so securing lands for community services. As we grow here, we require more services, and there is an opportunity to secure these lands to be able to build maybe a community hub or area. So we have identified some lands that are available, and by approving the bylaw, council is approving that, or authorizing that the mayor and the CAO enter into agreements with the registered owners of the lands to convey the lands to the township, and then additionally with the forest road within the lands, permit continued use of the forest road lands for the purpose of school access.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? There are none seen. This is a fabulous initiative. Number one, starting with staff, but also that we as council gave the authority and the delegation to staff to source out properties. So I thank you for that and all the hard work that's gone into this. So after saying that, is there any other questions, comments, concerns? There are none seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to section 10.1, Public Works, Kennelly Mountain Road Concerns, Ditch Area. Resolution, please.
The council directs staff to issue a request for tender for pricing for guardrail to be installed on Kennelly Mountain Road and to bring it back to council for final approval.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please. Steve Inwood, please.
So there have been concerns regarding the deep ditch along Kennelly Mountain Road, specifically between 1442 Kennelly Mountain Road and Fire Tower Road. The primary issue in significant drop, there's an approximate like 8 to 10 foot ditch, and it's not like a normal ditch where it's sloped from the road down. It's like a wall. They've piled rock over the years to build this road, so it's just a straight drop off. To address this problem, I thought maybe the first thing we could do, we have all this material that we got from the dam project over here, we could maybe fill the ditch in because there's barely any water in it at any time during a spring melt. But when I reached out to the Ministry of Natural Resources, it's on their list as an actual creek, not a ditch, even though there's no water in it most summers, but that's still classified on their list as a creek. So that was a no for that. But I also asked if it's possible, can we put some material just to slope that bank a little bit to stop it from eroding and make it, if a car did go in, at least it wouldn't roll. They could just kind of go into it. But that needed to have an engineer report made up with how we were going to keep material from actually getting into the creek while you were doing this work. And I was talking to an engineer for a plan like that, you're looking at $60,000, and that's not necessarily, they're still going to approve it in the end. So you would be putting that money out and not knowing if you could even do it still. So explored, I've had some guardrail company doing some work for us last summer, and I had them meet me there just to see if there is possibility of putting guardrail. The problem with, it's kind of narrow there, and I thought there might be not a, you couldn't put wooden post guardrail in there, but he said they have like a steel beam guardrail system that you can take. They don't put the wooden block between the beam and the post. They just put the two steel pieces together. So it keeps it narrow. It's only 8 inches wide, 9 inches wide. And he thought that there is a possibility of doing something with guardrail. But to look into that, I'd have to put it out to RFP, have somebody come, more people come and have a site visit on it to see if, what they think too, because it is a rock wall underneath it. So are they going to have to drill it all? Like there's quite variables that could come into it, but I think this is the best route for the township to explore this option, just to see if this is a a route we can go, and then come back to council with a recommendation.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Popke.
I know that ditch of what you're talking, it is quite the ditch. And there's been numerous vehicles over the years see the bottom of it. So I think the guardrails would be a good way of keeping them out of there.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No. Thank you Steve for taking the initiative on this, and I know that it's there are some people up in that area that it's a very contentious issue, so thank you for spearheading this. In saying that, is there any other questions? No. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 10.2 tender PW 07-2025 granular M material and granular B type 2 various roads and capital projects. Resolution, please.
The council award tender PW 07-2025 granular M group number 1 Dacre area to Bonisher Excavating Inc. for $25,470.52, including net HST. And that council award tender PW 07-2025 granular M group number 2 Griffith and Madawaska area to RJ Sell & Son LTD for $48,824.44, including net HST. And that council award tender PW 07-2025 granular M group number 3 capital projects to RJ Sell & Son LTD for $357,510.86, including net HST.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please, Steve.
So council approved the 2025 operating capital budget, which includes the loose top maintenance for gravel roads and the reconstruction of 6.8 kilometers of Madawaska Road and 1.1 of Church Street in Griffith. Staff issued the tenders in late January. The tender closed in February. With the cost higher than expected, we reissued the tender for the Dacre area, the Griffith and Madawaska area, and the capital projects. So we reissued again in late March, and the closing date April 4th. So between the two tenders, for retendering it again, we came back with about $14,500 in savings by retendering it again, cheaper than the last tender. So.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? There are none seen. Once again, Steve, thanks for doing that and saving us some money. So it's great. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll move on to, excuse me, section 10.3, bylaw 33-2025, seasonal maintain roads. Resolution, please.
The council approves bylaw 33-2025 seasonally maintained roads as presented, and that council repeals bylaw 68-2023 seasonally maintained roads.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. I assume this is Steve once again. We're getting full value for you today.
So one of the sections on Kennelly Mountain Road that we plow from Ferguson Lake Road to Malva Hill Farm Road, it was in the bylaw that we only plowed to the Malva Hill Farm Road intersection, but we actually plowed just past it to the 9 civic address number. And when Tracy was doing some work for a couple up there, the county was kind of looking at our bylaw, but it didn't state that we actually went to their civic address number. So we're being more right on key with the civic address number and how far we actually do plow. And then the other one was the new found out road. This was, I think, was just a mistake maybe on my part when we did it the last couple of times. We took some roads off that we never maintained ever. We had roads that we've taken off years ago, like there was one down here, Captain's Road, that they said it was a seasonal maintained road, and there's no road there. It's trees and there's no, and I just think this one got forgotten on the last time we did it, because when I reread the list again, it was on there.
Is there any questions, concerns from council?
Oh, and also, sorry, there's
Is there
one
anything
more.
else, Steve?
So we've had some residents reach out that they're wanting to live on some of these seasonal maintained roads. So there is an agreement that they can ask to get into with the municipality. Plus they have, like council would have to approve the agreement first, but then they'd have to get the liability insurance to be able to maintain it from November 1st to May 15th, if that is an option they want to look into. So we added that to the bylaw. If they want to do that, they can.
Thank you. Now, is there any questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Thompson.
I just need clarification on that. So if somebody builds on a road that is seasonally and they want to stay there full time, does the township plow it and they pay, or?
No, they would have to enter into agreement that they're going to take care of the road and maintain it from November 1st to May 15th, plus get the liability insurance in the municipality's name, and then they can physically plow it. But until then, they can't do nothing with it.
Okay, and that would have to come to council
Yeah.
first. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Popke. Could you just bring your mic a bit closer to you, too?
Yeah, sorry. I was under the impression that the township doesn't issue a full-time permit for new builds on seasonal roads.
Yeah, they don't.
So these would be like hunt camps that the people are moving into?
So yes, there has been people that are staying in some of these roads and already, and this is not for new construction. There's no permits issued. This is just stuff that's happened over the years, and now if they're living in there, if they want to be able to maintain it, they have to go into this agreement.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No, I thank you for this once again, and I also, I like that the communication between departments and the ability to speak to each other is so strong. It's something that Tracy found in her area while she was working and brought it to your attention. So it shows the communication between staff and the respect between each other. So I think that should be highlighted as well. So thank you for this. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. We'll now move on to 11.1, building permit report, informational item. Chris, please.
Yes, thank you. So this report or memo is just to bring council up to date on the permits issued so far in 2025 for the first quarter, and also the revenues collected from permits and the development charges as well. So if council has any questions of any kind?
We've all had a chance to review this. Is there any questions from council on this information item? Oh, Councillor Thompson.
I'm just curious, it's gone way down. Was there extra, was there extra activity last year? Am I reading it right?
So you're saying the permit numbers are down or the revenues are down?
The revenues.
So the permit numbers are slightly lower. Now, some of these revenue, the actual dollar might not be quite up to date just because the permit has been issued, but maybe the fees haven't been collected for all the permits yet. So it might reflect that a little bit for why the revenues for the permits may be slightly lower. The development charges, they would be up to date because there has only been 2 new dwellings issued so far this year.
So to clarify, when the building department issues a permit, it sits at the front for pickup and collection of it. So the revenues may not tie into is what he's referencing. So it would be that it hasn't switched hands yet. It's still at the township.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concern on this information item? There are none seen. Thank you, Chris. We'll now move on to 11.2, bylaw 30-2025 and bylaw 31-2025, being bylaws to establish procedures and terms of reference for Committee of Adjustment. Resolution, please.
The council approved bylaw 30-2025 being a procedural bylaw for the Committee of Adjustment, and bylaw 31-2025 being a bylaw to establish the terms of reference policy for the Committee of Adjustment, and that council repeal bylaw 10-2009 and bylaw 69-2010.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. A background, please. And who is delivering this? Kristen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this past June, Council reviewed the composition of the committee and chose to maintain its existing structure. And it was noted at that time that the committee was basically working under outdated bylaws from 2009 and 2010. And both of those bylaws didn't really reflect the current composition of the committee, and it also didn't really follow some current legislation as well. So what we have here is basically an overhaul of both the procedural bylaw and the terms of reference bylaw. In this case, it'll now be a policy, but essentially what we wanted to do was we wanted to modernize, obviously, the committee's current framework and then ensure that it complies with current legislation. So some of the key changes that we've made is we've revised the composition to just to be a little more open. So we could have a committee based solely on members of council, but should council at any time wish to go to a resident-based, we also have that opportunity to recognize a resident-based committee. We've also included qualifications for resident members. We've established some more defined roles for key members. We've also included a more defined meeting schedule, which has now been formalized, quorum requirements, and then we've also included some compensation for public members, a per application payment, and included some mileage and such. So right now there's no any immediate financial impacts. Council will have to consider that if the committee was to ever go to a resident-based committee, that there may be some financial implications at that time, as it would need to be included in the budget, but I don't anticipate that would be anytime soon. So if there's any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion items by council? There are none seen. Thank you, Kristen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to section 11.3, RFP 02-2025, Calabogie Secondary Plan. Resolution, please.
The council award RFP 02-2025 Calabogie Secondary Plan to Republic Urbanism for $124,999 plus HST.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? It's Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. I believe this is our planner, Tracy.
Thank
Take
you.
it away.
Thank you. Council has heard the context of this project over the last couple of months, and in February authorized staff to proceed to list requests for proposals for the preparation of a secondary plan for Calabogie Village. So we did that on February 22nd. It was posted on bids and tenders. There was a commenting period and a couple of sets of comments received and responded to. The RFP closed on March 31st. The key deliverables that you see in the staff report here are the same as what was listed in the request for proposals, but the goal, of course, is to create a vision for the village, some mapping that shows some future land uses and goals for the village, to do a natural heritage, cultural heritage, transportation, and stormwater review in the village area, and eventually lead to an official plan amendment and then implementation of a secondary plan for the village. So we received 4 proposals, which staff evaluated using a criteria that's in the report here, and same criteria was listed for the proponents in the RFP, so they knew what was being evaluated. We did get 4 proposals from consulting teams, and staff are recommending that the township proceed to retain Republic Urbanism to complete the project. They had a good proposal and a strong team. We liked their work plan and their approach, their communication strategy with the township, and their plan for communication with the public, their project management skills, and so on. So that is our recommendation, to proceed with Republic Urbanism for, quote, a price of $124,999 plus HST.
Thank you. Questions, concern, discussion items from council. Councillor Levesque, you got your hand up first.
Thank you, Tracy. Just a clarification of a couple of things. One is, it is village-wide, correct? Like end-to-end, or is it a specific area?
It's the whole village as mapped in the county's official plan for the settlement area, yes.
Okay. And just to clarify specifics, because it doesn't list it, although it does show the the deliverables. So the scope does include the waterfront.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
And because I've had discussions with Renee on what the county is doing in terms of their asset management plan. So will this plan take into account, because I know you did talk about transportation, the 511 going through the village and including bridge work that's, I think, anticipated as part of their asset management plan. So is that all kind of?
I would say bridge
Somewhat
work,
out of scope?
not specific to this. So what I'm envisioning for the transportation aspect is to look at the transportation network, vehicle, pedestrian, cycling, the whole network inside the village, sidewalks, accessibility, that kind of thing.
Safety?
Yeah, absolutely. Safety, yeah, key intersections, that kind of thing, not looking at the bridge per se.
Well, so I realize that that's a county responsibility,
Yeah.
and that's something they're doing, but I guess there's an opportunity potentially for us to.
And then we're doing that through the asset management plan. Yeah, so they're just two different projects, so we do coordinate with that.
Okay.
In this situation, it's just coordinating the vision around the development of the township.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and the county is aware, obviously, that we're working on this project, and I've already had some discussion with county transportation, public works staff about traffic counts and intersections and things like that. So yes.
Well, and I'll just throw it out there because if anybody's watching, the main concern that many people have is access from Heritage Point to the village.
Absolutely.
And vice versa.
Yes.
So when that is all happening, if we can somehow make sure that we're coordinated so that we have that ability to do that, realizing it's a county responsibility, but it impacts the municipality.
We're definitely not stating that it's a county responsibility and not the township. At our February council meeting, we presented an update where we coordinated with the county for asset management, where we're discussing that public works, we're coordinating, in this situation, they're coordinating planning and development for the secondary plan. However, we are on the side and we're meeting with the public works and engineers of the county to discuss roads. So that is happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson, you had a question?
Excuse me. Is this, I see that we're, doing the drainage, et cetera, stormwater. Is there any requirement to look into future drinking water as we plan, like, are we going to stay on wells forever?
Good question. We did talk about whether there should be some hydrogeology analysis. The scope of that and the cost of that is very significant. So that's not covered in the scope here. I think for now, development of each parcel, as development takes place, they'll have to demonstrate appropriate servicing, whether that's well and septic or maybe communal services, depending on the scale of development, but it's not an element of the secondary plan.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No, thank you, Tracy. And I did note that Republic Urbanization is, their cost was a little higher than some of the tenders that came in. But then in reviewing what your standards were within the RFP, I assume that the ones that came in lower did not meet your standards in your evaluation of your team. And I assume that's the case. I just wanted to make that public.
Yes, 3 of the quotes were very close. The one that was the lowest bid, the RFP was very clear that we were looking for those study areas, the cultural heritage, which is an archaeologist, the civil engineering for the transportation, the biology is the natural heritage, plus the planning. Concept Dash that submitted the proposal did not have all of those experts on their team. So although their price was lower, we felt they didn't have all of the qualifications we were looking for to complete the project.
Thank you. That was my assumption, but I just wanted to clarify for everybody. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns arising from that? No. Councillor Thompson.
I just want to say how nice it is to have a planner on staff when our biggest task is planning, one of our big tasks. So and see these sorts of things going forward. So this is pretty exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, and I'd just like to piggyback on that comment, that yes, we have a planner on staff, but we also have an extremely competent junior planner that's been doing a load of work for us, and some of it outside our scope, and it's been greatly appreciated, Kristen, and your work is not going unnoticed. And I think between the two of you, we are strong as can be. So thank you both. Thank you. On that note, all in favor? That is unanimous, so carried, so thank you. We'll now move on to 11.4, bylaw 29-2025, zoning bylaw amendment 13449696, Canada Inc., Fleming in brackets. Resolution, please.
That council approves bylaw 20-2025 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 28-2024 as amended to rezone part of the lands located in part lot 13 concession 12 in the geographic township of Baguette from rural to tourism commercial to reflect the zoning of the lands being added to.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Thompson. Background, please.
Thank you. This is a zoning amendment to satisfy a condition of severance for a lot addition from a rural property onto the golf course property that's owned by the numbered company. The public meeting was held last Thursday. There was no objection or concern, but there were some residents there who are interested. I stated at the public meeting, and I'll remind you here, the purpose of the application is just to put the lot addition lands in the same zone as the golf course, so that when the parcels merge, the parcel will have one zone on it. Future development of the lot addition lands or the golf course will be subject to whatever planning applications are necessary. A plan of subdivision, a future zoning amendment, site plan control, whatever comes out of that, but there's no development proposed at this time that's related to the lands that are being rezoned. This is just satisfying a condition of consent. So we held the statutory public meeting last week, and this is the bylaw to implement the change.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion items from council? There are none. Thank you for that. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. We'll now move on to section 12, committees and boards. 12.1, the Canada Day Committee. These are all information items. And Councillor Tripp.
Thank you. So a very quick update. The committee continues to meet monthly. We are getting closer to our dates. With each meeting, we're putting in more details to the plan. We're pleased with how it's developing. Most of the major items are in play: fireworks, the band, the background support required for it. We have T-shirts that have been redesigned for this year. They'll be coming out shortly for sale. I think they're $20 each. So you'll see more of that as they arrive. We have 2 new acts or events this year. One is a dunk tank and the other is an axe throwing event. Point of clarification, they're 2 separate events. And
I was getting worried.
We'll be looking for volunteers for both. The volunteers, we're still looking, and that's been something that has been a bit of a challenge with each Canada Day. So we're starting a little earlier to get creative on our volunteer base. And we're just waiting on the grant applications. We anticipate the same funding sources to be available to us. We're just waiting on the amounts. So things are in good play. We'll bring more back as they start to develop. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from council on this information item? No, I think, Councillor Thompson. Sorry, you usually hit me in the head when
I just want to say that the volunteer thing is very important. There were a few townships in southern Ontario who had to cancel their Canada Day events completely, mostly because of the lack of volunteers. So I think we are lucky that we have a lot of volunteers, but we need more people to realize that this isn't something we do for them. We do it all for ourselves, and the library board can use more people at the pancake breakfast if anyone's watching on Canada Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, comments, shameless plugs that need to go in? But quite honestly, yeah, the volunteers, we seem to come together in the last minute in this township, whether that be up in Griffith, Madawaska, DACA Center. I mean, you go to these events and the amount of volunteers that are there is phenomenal, and it shows the spirit and the camaraderie within this township. And you have volunteers that are traveling to different locations to assist. So I think the interactions are wonderful. And yes, we could always use more volunteers. It's a sense of enjoyment. You're working, you're volunteering, but you get to experience it all. And you know, find out sometimes when you're volunteering, you have more conversations with strangers and people who you don't know because you're there and you're identifiable as a volunteer. And I think those interactions are just another way to promote our communities. So if you can volunteer, if you need your students, if you need your hours for high school, this is a great opportunity. Volunteer, you get to hear the music, you get to see the fireworks, you get to see the kids having fun, getting their teddy bears fixed, and you get to see Councillor Thompson get dunked. Well, it's either that or the axe throwing. So, but we'll work out those who's getting dunked in going forward, and I assume we'll have some surprise visitors for that dunking. Anyway, so thank you very much to Canada Day, and get out and volunteer. We'll move on to 12.2, Recreation and Culture Committee. Councillor Levesque.
Thank you. A number of items on the list. We had a visit from our CAO, Renee, to discuss the new Senior Active Living Program Coordinator. So that's going to be working with primarily with the SALT, but also some coordination with the Recreation and Culture Committee. So that's just going to help us round out and support one another where it's needed across the community. As mentioned earlier in the meeting, the business showcase is on June 21st from 11 to 3, so lots of activity happening there. So the Recreation Committee and Culture Committee will have a table there as well. And in addition to that, which I'm also part of, the Renfrew and Area Chamber of Commerce will also be there. So hopefully we can join some people together and see where the cohesiveness can happen. Lots of things happening in the background in terms of volunteering and working with the township in general on that event. As Rob mentioned with Canada Day, we were asked if we wanted to put a table in Canada Day as well, and we decided we wouldn't need to do that, but we wanted to definitely support the event through volunteerism and make sure that people were available for that. Some other exciting things happening during the summer. We got music in the park. We've got 3 dates, June 29th, August 10th, and September 21st. So we've got 2 acts, booked for June 29th and August 10th. And this will be at Barnett Park from 1 till 4. And on September 21st, will be an open mic. So plans are underway for that, and we'll be coming back to council for a couple of items from those events, including a small budget for each. We're also looking at an event called Art in the Park, and this is an opportunity to host Art in the Park it's open for landscape artists and those who want to participate, and we're looking at a potential of joining that with one of the other Music in the Park events as well to kind of capitalize on some of that. Recently we discussed junior golf. The community has 2 golf courses, but we don't have any junior golf program, so a lot of people are asking, well, what do we do for the youth? This is one thing we're looking at. We're going to be looking at both Calabogie Peaks, which is a 9-hole golf course, and the Highlands Golf Course, which is 18. And both are looking at different aspects of how to host or create a junior program. It certainly wouldn't be a large undertaking, certainly year 1, but we're going to look at how we can pull something together so we can get something going for the summer. There's also a Learn to Fish item that we've been talking about. It's a 2-hour program with 1-hour hands-on fishing and a 1-hour educational. So more information to come on that. And looking forward to the fall, we're looking at the possession and acquisition license, or otherwise known as the Hunter Safety Course, in coordination with other areas of the township and in prep for the fall hunt. So get your guns ready. So we'll be in touch on that one as well. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Councillor Thompson?
Hi, this is great work, a lot going on. Are you coordinating, I was thinking to the hunting, are you coordinating with the Griffith and Madawaska?
Yes.
And, oh,
Yes,
so,
Leslie is our
okay.
connect.
So that, because they usually do those things, so
Yeah.
this is good. Are there any other events planned through the Recreation Committee that'll happen in the other wards, or is it all Calabogie?
Right now, I think majority of them are here, but in doing any of these planning events, we're looking at the next stage which would start moving around the township. So initially, this is what we're looking at, but yes, we loud and clear, because we do talk about that quite a bit. And the other thing is too, and I think it's time to start reaching out a little bit more and get other people in those areas engaged, but Leslie's been our primary conduit for those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? No, I thank you for that, Jeff, and I'm looking forward to the arts. We have so many talented artists in this area, and I know you said it's landscape artists initially, and then we can expand that to nature and so on going down the road, I assume.
Yeah, and I think the things that we're talking about here, these are the initial stages of any of them. So we're going to see how they go, and then either we can build on them and alter them and adjust, or determine if it's something we don't want to do in the future, but all those will happen during the summer. We can determine how they'll run through the summer.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions on this information item? And I'd like to point out that a few times that you reference Leslie, and that's Leslie Cassidy, I assume. Leslie does a lot behind the scenes in the volunteerism in this community, and she's a great representative of the Griffith area and Madawaska. So I just wanted to make sure that we got it on the record that I was right that it's Leslie Cassidy you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. She's phenomenal. And back to Lois's point earlier, unfortunately, she's the only representative from the other areas of the township. So that's one thing we really need to see what we can do to bolster and get that coordinated more so with the other areas of the township.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, thank you for that information item. We'll now move on to 12.3, information item, Library Board. Councillor Thompson.
Okay, the Library Board, or actually the library staff and the board, have a great association with Watersheds Canada that really suits this township. Watersheds has procured grants. They're looking for grants all over the place, but they're partnering with the library so that we get the benefit. And one of the things is the library currently owns a Water Rangers, that's the brand name, Freshwater Explorer Test Kit. So that's for adults to use. They sell for about $380. So you can rent that to test your water. And they also, that one's ready for circulation. But there's another one, an education test kit worth $585 that we will get. I don't know if it's in yet, but we will get at a highly discounted rate. And that's what you can use to explain. It's for teachers. So the idea is that Watersheds can hold sessions to explain the importance of water testing. So over the summer, they're going to be looking for locations to do like a 1-hour seminar and a 1-hour on the lake in different areas of the township. So that's all at no cost to the library, and just an excellent association. And they also want to work with people like various people that already do this and lake associations so that everybody knows they can borrow these things and get going on to do that. We have only one official, according to the FOCA, the Federation of Cottages Association, something like that. There's only one, the Calabogie Cottage Association, but we looked through Facebook, and I think there's Herds Lake, Norway Lake, Centennial Lake and Black Donald Lake, Norcan Lake. These are all Facebook groups. Norcan Lake Cabins, Friends of Virgin Lake. So we already have a good bunch of people who are interested in doing this thing, so it's a really good, really great association. So that's the big news. The fire department has agreed to assist again for the pancake breakfast on Canada Day, but as I mentioned earlier, we could still use some more volunteers, and we are working at getting more awareness, and we were able to partner with the township and with the benefits of the library in that brochure that went out with the tax. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get numbers up, because a lot of people just think of it as a place to get books. It's much better. Thank you. That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? No, and I also want to point out about the library is get your cards, become a member of the library. They're in association with an app called Libby, which gives you access to e-reading books. I personally use Libby for audiobooks. And what I like about the Libby and going through the library, number one, it's free. It's free to get your library card, so get it, because you never know when you're going to need it. But when you're using something like the audiobooks that I have, I can go on and find thousands of books. Now, sometimes there's a waiting time of 2 months because there's only one in circulation through the Ontario Library Board. But it's well worth it, and it's not one that you need to be connected to cellular or Wi-Fi while you're driving. It downloads to your phone. It gives you a certain period of time to listen to it. And I find it extremely entertaining and educational on my drives back and forth to Pembroke or Toronto. So I would ask that, number one, you're thinking about getting out and voting right now. Well, also think about getting your library card, because it's you never know when you could use it, and it'd be nice just to have it. So I thank the library for the work they're doing. So saying that, is there any other questions, comments? No? Well, thank you for the information item. I'd like to move on to 13, bylaw 13.1, bylaw approval. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw 32/2025 confirmatory be deemed read a first, second, and final time and passed by council at the regular council meeting held April 17th, 2025.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Levesque. And that is the background included. And all in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. We'll now move on to Councillor Thompson's favorite. 14, adjournment. Motion, please.
That the regular council meeting of April 17th, 2025 be adjourned at 4:23 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson. Councillor Levesque, second. All in favor to adjourn? Meeting is adjourned. I thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Be safe. Have a great Easter. And don't forget to exercise your right to get out and vote. Thank you.